record you talking shit about.
Show face, literally show.
So
Yeah.
I think let's not talk about the watches first.
Okay.
But let's talk about them. What is Malaysia Watch Club? Like, how did this become a thing in Malaysia? And in terms of getting the exposure, what are you planning to do?
Wow. So Malaysia Watch Club started as a drinking session.
Straight to the point.
Drinking session.
Always a good start.
Yep. And it was just a bunch of us meeting. So you met all of them, right? So it was just a bunch of us meeting, and just during lockdown period, and then it was like EMCO and all that. So everyone had a lot of free time. And I've always liked watches, but I've never actually had people to share it with, right?
Okay.
So it's not like how it is now 10 years ago or 11 years ago. It's not so inclusive in that sense. So it was a very, I know a lot of people say it, but it's very you and yourself and the computer.
You and your own journey.
Yeah, you and your own journey, right? So then I met this bunch of guys, and it was fun. We were drinking, we were hanging out, we were talking watches, and it started growing from there. And then also through MCO, there's nothing to do, so like I said, always on Instagram, right? So you're always looking for more people. Hey, you're Malaysian. Hey, come join. Let's meet up. And that's how that's how I met you guys as well, right? Yeah. So that's how it actually started. Where it's gonna go, I have no idea, honestly. It never set out to be anything other than a platform or
Yamcha session.
Yam Cha session or
Yam Cha session.
alcohol lah. A platform for us to really just hang out, catch up, and and just talk and form friendships, I guess. Yeah. Start off as watches, but I think now we have like, I don't know, everyone talking about cars and all that, right? Everything,
yeah.
right? Food and all that. So I thought,
And Where's Stefan going for holidays?
So I thought it is quite good that it's now evolved past watches. So it's all about the friendship as well, which I thought is quite fun.
That's the best part, actually.
Yeah, that's the
I
best
think,
part.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think we also said it a few times, right? After a while meeting each other, I think we've seen everyone's collection.
Correct,
Really.
yeah,
There's so
yeah.
much to
Unless
look at, right?
unless you are like watched up, then
Yeah, watched
you
up.
haven't seen everything watched up.
hiding all the nice
Yeah.
gems.
So is it have you thought about the safety aspect when you do this?
Definitely. So I'm quite I'm not saying anal, but I'm quite careful in the sense of who I allow to join. Few reasons, not because I think we are very atas or whatever. It's just first definitely the safety. So what I do is normally I will stalk your Instagram, see your collection,
Yep.
right? It has to be on a certain level, and again, not because there is not the appreciation, there's no appreciation for the lesser stuff or the cheaper stuff. It's because I think it's my responsibility to make sure that the person that comes join the group is safe, I guess,
Yep.
right? I mean, that's most straightforward way to put it, lah. And on top of that, also, then I have to look at the group dynamic. Because when we first started, it was only 6 of us, and we were all great, right? 6 of us were easy to get along with. Then, as we have more and more now, so bringing someone into that whole group, I have to kind of like suss a little
Manage
bit
the
whether-
dynamics, right?
Yeah, whether it can really fit or
In terms of personality, chemistry, and all that. lah.
Yeah. So
But you will always meet somebody first before you bring them in.
in
right?
general, yes, yeah. Unless it's a really big collector based on his Instagram, then don't need
Bobian lah.
don't need to do much vetting already. Lah.
Right.
Yeah, the watches speak for themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So Eric Koo is welcome. lah.
Every cool is always welcome. Always welcome. Yeah.
Right. So now how many people are there in your club?
I think we have 15, 18? 15 or 18 people, but actively I think maybe 12.
Stefan.
Yeah.
Stefan.
That one is the most active.
Most
Yes. Yeah, but we have about 15 or 18, something like that. Yeah.
Has there been a case where people openly ask, like, hey, can I join?
No,
This.
there's never been a case where people openly ask, but people have asked to meet, but I've never met. Just sometimes it's, don't really have the time, but sometimes I think just they don't suit the group dynamic. That's why.
Yeah. I think the other one also to get is the confusion between MWG and MWC.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Every time
correct,
you say this, like MWG is like on Facebook. I think no.
Yeah,
it's not
actually
on
initially
Facebook.
I had that confusion too.
I
I thought it was the same thing.
Yeah, change name.
I didn't even know MWG existed when we didn't actually, like I said, I think we didn't actually start out wanting to create a club or a group, right? It was just very organic.
It's a fellowship.
Yeah.
Right?
And then, so the MWC logo was done by Xiang. Just one day he said, hey, what do you think about this? And it's like, oh, okay, you know. And that was
it.
nothing
right?
was ever planned to be a group, a big community or what. It was never the plan to build a community. It was a plan to build a group of like-minded individuals that can have a drink together and sit down and just...
Yeah, and everybody likes each other enough to want to hang out.
Yeah. That was the main point of it. And then, of course, it revolves around watches. And now it's more
Move on to
other things as well, yeah.
Right. So maybe we can talk about your watch journey and how you started, and you know, as cliche as it is, the watch journey.
Okay.
But I think it sort of puts what we have on the table into perspective if we go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So started about 12 years ago, thereabouts, 11, 12 years ago. Yeah.
In Malaysia?
In Malaysia.
not in Shanghai, right?
Not in Shanghai.
Then you would have been about 8 years old at that time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But yeah, I was late 20s.
Right.
Late 20s, financially more stable. And at that time, the thing I could afford was a vintage Rolex, which is what Denzel's wearing now.
The first.
Yeah.
And I can continue.
So, and I didn't know anything about watches at the time. So,
But you gravitated to Rolex because it's kind of the most known.
yeah, I
brand,
mean,
right?
we
Not knowing
we
anything,
are
right?
Asian, we're Chinese,
Yeah.
so what else is there,
Yachting,
right?
right?
Yachting.
Rolex.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted a sub, but I didn't even know there were differentiations in a date and no date. I didn't know there was so many different references.
Right?
Yep. So I just knew I wanted a sub. So my really good buddy, he was the one that he was a little bit into watches, and he asked me whether I was okay with a vintage sub. So the first question I asked was, how much is it? Right, and when he told me the price, so at the time was what, 15,000 ringgit,
Yep.
right? Yeah, I said, yeah, that I can afford. A brand new sub, stretching it. So he said, okay, just leave it with me. Yeah. Then a few weeks later, he gave me a call and said, hey, why don't you come and have a look? I said, what are we looking at? He said, just come out here. Then reached there, he just took out two watches and said, you choose whichever one you want, and I'll take the other one. So in his hand, which I know now, which I didn't know then, was a 1680 and a 16800. Right. So I took the 1680 without knowing what it was.
Just based on your feel.
Just based on, I just took, and yeah, like...
Which one you like
Yeah, I
better
prefer
lah.
this one and the other one.
Yeah.
Why, I don't know, but you know, I just took it. And he said, okay, yeah, that's yours. How much is it? 14.5. We're done, right?
At that time, you could still walk into an AD and walk out with a watch.
Yeah, I think so.
This
You
was
could,
like
yeah.
12 years ago, right?
Yeah. I think you still could, right?
And
Yeah.
you still
Maybe
buy like
limited-
4 digit, 5 digits at like very good prices.
Yeah.
right?
5 digits you could get, yeah. So that was basically how I started. And then my buddy told me, look, since now you spend so much money on a watch, why don't you start reading a little bit on what you've just bought? And gave me some books.
Very good friend.
Yeah, very good friend.
Questionable.
Yeah.
How much
And,
financial damage he has done since, right?
Then told me about Rolex forums. So I started reading, and that was the start of the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine, right?
Right. So
Then you had more questions, right?
yeah, I had more questions, and then I wanted to own more. I wanted to try more, and I guess that's how we snowballed until to what it is today.
But that's a big leap though, from a vintage Rolex to independence. Like,
Okay.
help us fill in the gaps.
But
So,
wait, before that, I think another question, sorry.
No, bro.
Before that question, I'm like, because for most people, like around, they would normally go like, I mean, interestingly for you, you went vintage rather than modern, of course, because of the price point. But didn't you feel like, because most people don't like vintage, they see it as like it's used, it looks old. They don't understand the flair that we kind of get from it, right?
To me, it was no difference because at that time, a sub looked like a sub.
Right.
I mean, a sub looks
I
like
can
a sub.
imagine
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So to me, it didn't factor that way. Of course, price made a big difference for me. So I wanted something that I could afford. My then girlfriend, who's now my wife, was actually wearing a 14060. So
Wow, baller.
yeah, she
like
damn
baller.
baller, right? So she owned a sub like 2 years before me.
So that's why you wanted a
Yeah,
sub lah,
so for me, it was like,
watch, right?
yeah, I wanted a sub. And then she always say, why don't you just you wear it? Like, no, I don't need to wear it. I was like, no, it's not mine. You just wear it now. So I wanted something that
Yeah,
I
you
could,
could call
I
your
could call
own.
my own. So it was just a sub, right? And vintage, not vintage, to me at the time, yeah,
No
really no
difference,
difference.
right?
Yeah, really no difference. So after learning more about Rolexes, then got me down the vintage Rolex rabbit hole. Lor.
At least you started right.
Well,
A lot of people think-
arguable, lah. But at the time, because vintage Rolexes were not hot yet, so I could actually purchase and try, So my next purchase after that was a 5513, which is the purist sub,
Yeah, very-
and then it snowballed from there, lah. So 1675.
And that left the collection. Right?
Yeah, a lot has left the collection. So 1675, then 16710, so a Coke and a Pepsi. What else? And then moved on to Daytonas.
So basically the whole field.
Yeah, the whole field, basically. And I always told myself, yeah, I know. Don't care about AP, don't care about Patek, don't care about anything. I just want to be a
Rolex.
Rolex,
fanboy.
yeah, Rolex fanboy for life. I'm happy, I'll die happy. And of course, like with everything in life,
Okay, this one comes back to his question,
yeah,
right?
you
Like how did you
Graduated from Rolex.
I wouldn't say graduated, but,
But it's true, right? I mean, like most
in
people, like
a way,
at some point, that's like the grail, you know,
Yeah.
sort of brand.
Yeah.
everyone wants
And then once you've had a few, then you realize like,
it's all the same.
yeah,
in a way,
and-
in a way, yeah.
And then you sort of like look for something a little bit more
Correct.
special. And
So then I went further, then I started looking and reading, of course, more and more, and I said, oh man, if only one day I could own a Royal. And that was like, I'll be done. I'll be done for life, I'll be set
Last
for life.
watch.
Yeah, last watch. So slowly, and I was lucky because a few years after I started, Rolex boom. Right, so by virtue of me selling a few pieces, I could buy a Royal.
yes.
Right, and it was not much money down because my absolute amount of paying, it's not.
Yeah, because it already covers
Yeah,
like,
it's
all the
already
pieces
covered,
that you
right?
have, right? And you
So-
started just nice at the vintage point.
correct. So and also because there were a lot of pitfalls in vintage Rolexes, so I didn't have the patience to like really eagle eye and zoom in on all the details, which is what all vintage Rolex is about, right? So I couldn't. So in the end, I said no, enough is enough. So I moved on to modern stuff, I guess, in a sense. So the Royal, got it, wore it, loved it, then became the Gentile face, right? So if I have a Royal Oak, definitely what else must I have? I must have a Nautilus as well, man, right? And if I get a Nautilus,
like
what
having
else
fries,
do I need in life? That's it. I'm
Like
done.
having fries without a burger.
Yeah, right. It's like I must have two iconic watches. And once I'm there, I'm good. So slowly, as financial situation got better, I bought Nautilus as well, and
Which reference was
5711.
57?
Yeah.
Proper ones.
Yeah. Then everything was just status quo, and I told myself I'll never be a dress watch guy. I'm always bracelet. I like my links. I like the feel of everything. And it's Malaysia. Who wears a leather strap? So stupid and all that, right?
Talking about
totally relate.
Yeah.
Totally.
Those stupid people. I don't wear a suit. Cannot match me. All the reasons are, I'm short slippers. Then what happened? Then I started getting bored. Like really, really bored. I thought there was no.
this was pre-COVID, right?
This is still pre-COVID. Got really bored. I was like, bracelet watches. There's nothing else really. I mean, yeah, you have all the other brands that create, but in actual fact, it's actually all the same to me, right? So I started reading about dress watches, which I resisted for like 5 years or something like that. I was like, never. I was like, I'm not even bothered. I'm not even interested. I don't even want to read about
Just
it.
bored already, right? Nothing
Yeah.
else to look at.
So I started reading, and I spoke to. By that time, I got to know what Xiao, right? So of course, he gave me a lot of things to read. Asked me. I started asking him a lot of questions, and that's how I got into, dressier pieces. And he pushed me into the direction of Lange. So, and particularly the first generation datograph. And that would actually, I think that's the first dress watch I bought. So the datograph.
Again, a very amazing first, right?
Yeah. So I bought it on the high actually.
Oh.
Yeah, but I traded a lot of watches for it.
But it has never dipped though, right?
It's dippish now.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
slightly?
dippish, yeah.
But nowhere near like AP or
No,
Patek or
yeah,
Rolex
yeah.
dips.
So that's how I got started into dress watches.
Now, just to clarify, everything is not true ADs.
Yeah, everything is not true. It is. I think that one was because I was very comfortable buying off collectors, off forums when I first started with vintage Rolexes. You couldn't buy it off ADs anyway. So I've never went the AD route. Yeah, a few
And
pieces I had.
nothing
but
much to buy also
nothing
like
much,
AD, right?
And especially now, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no profile, no relationship. So I don't think I qualify for anything.
Did you have like transgressions away into like Grand Seiko and Omega?
Yes,
Come back?
so I've tried Pampans, 50 Fathoms,
Yeah.
Grand Seiko.
Grand Seiko.
Yeah, I have GS before.
No, he had.
Careful what you say.
Yeah.
I definitely have GS earlier.
Wow.
We're definitely earlier than you. Right.
See, that.
Then, what else? Omega never. The Moonwatch story never resonated with me.
I know how much
Why
you
is
did
that? Why is that? I'm really curious about this. because
everyone
Omega
says that.
never resonate with me either.
Yeah.
So I want to hear.
I guess, if you ask me, I think the ocean is more amazing than the space. Thank you. I don't dive, I don't anything. I just think, I don't know. I just like the ocean, I guess. So space never crossed my mind that I wanted to go to space, but I would actually want to go as deep as I can in a submarine
Let's
that
go.
can actually go. But I don't dive. Like.
Let's go.
No, I want it in
It's
comfort.
never too late to start.
I don't want to see sharks and all that. no, I want to see sharks, but like
They're
protected.
awesome. They're awesome,
Very
awesome.
easy enough. Don't bite.
They're
yeah.
amazing.
So so I think that's why the moon landing all that never.
Well, what about like design? You know, the design aspect of Omegas. Did they never speak to you or
Never.
same here?
Yeah, never. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
It was never my thing. So to me, you are either a Rolex guy or Omega guy. And I think I always just resonated more with Rolex.
But you've got people like Won, who's both.
Yeah, because he's the rich ho. Yeah. So,
Wrist-hole,
yeah.
oh, I like that.
So yeah, but just Omega doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Omega, I still need a club watch. Well, where should I go?
Yeah.
Yeah, please,
one.
Please do it. Please do it.
Yeah, but I think that's the beauty of collecting watches because you get different people and you get different people that like different things.
Yeah, the spectrum is so wide.
Imagine all four of us are sitting here with.
The same kind of watches,
Yeah.
right?
And that'll be boring as hell.
We might as well just drink.
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about anymore.
Cheers.
Yeah. Which one first?
So, first independent?
Okay, so
Oh.
Denzel asked me the question today. I was thinking, I thought it was actually
Too many.
The
Don't take back
Betune.
which is the first.
right. So actually, my first independent was what's the brand? Wait, this was also quite early on. Lin Verdelin,
Oh,
the Octopus 2.
yes.
Not familiar,
Photo,
sorry.
please.
Oh,
Please educate
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, not Dennis.
Google.
Yeah.
Lin Ver.
I thought it was that event that you met the guys at.
Okay, so
What was the name of the?
David.
I don't know. When you first started a group, right? You went for an Hourglass event. What was
Oh no. Okay.
Right, we were trying to organize that.
Yes,
thing.
Roman Gautier.
Roman Gautier.
Oh,
Yeah.
Roman
yes.
Gautier.
So yeah, this is the
Yeah.
Octopus 2. So this is actually my first independent.
Can I see it?
Sure.
Is it still with
Actually,
you?
this
or
It's still
no?
with
case
me.
always
It's still with
looks
you.
like the recent one you just posted, the AP.
Oh, the concept.
Right? Because whenever I see the case, it reminds of
Correct.
You already know this.
the scene.
So this is also actually my first modern watch.
How did it become?
Oh,
our
really?
First?
First modern piece.
So at
Let's see
that
the
time, I
kid,
don't know why
somebody-
Lin Verdelin was picking up momentum at the time. People were talking about it. Well,
In the Rolex forums? Or?
no. It's just I think so. I mean, it was an up and coming brand or something like that. So the guy that got me my first Rolex went to Singapore and found a shop, a dealer, which I don't think is around anymore, and said there's 2 more pieces left. Do you want one? I said, yeah, let's do it. So we did it.
You didn't know anything about
I knew we read
Okay.
it.
Alright.
But you didn't trade like any of the EPs
No,
or the
no.
PPs?
So at the time, when times were good, everything was 30% off retail, but you still could get discounts, right? And it was 30% off retail, or 40%, something like that. So that's how I ended up with that. And yeah, so that's actually my first independent. Yeah.
And I think that's like really, really low key independent because I don't know lah. Not that I'm so knowledgeable, but I've never heard of that. Are they still around?
I think they've been absorbed by. They're still around. I think, if I'm not wrong, I think Hourglass took them in house or something. I can't remember. I honestly
no.
can't remember. Yeah, I honestly can't. But they are still around.
The same fate as Roth.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Either that or go back to LVMH, right?
Yeah,
And you still have to watch?
yeah. I still have to watch.
Nice.
You still have to-
As sentimental or as you still like it?
That's a good question. I think more sentimental, because the guy that got me into watches also still owns the other one, so we still have it together. But yeah, I don't really wear it anymore. Yeah. So
I think from there, then, I mean, how does that journey progress, right? Because I think when people look at the page right now, when they look at the collection, I mean, number one, it's amazing. Number two, some of the brands also they would not know. And then I think, I mean, how do they start that journey? Because now everyone talks about independence. I think the first thing that comes to mind is Vision, right?
yeah, John.
In the most, and then that's always another question, right? Because I don't think or don't remember you having a John.
I've never had a John. Yeah.
And the reason for that is just doesn't resonate.
No, it resonates. Price.
Price.
Yeah, main thing is price.
Even when you started, like,
Okay, so when I first started indies, or it may a bit before that, you could get a Chrono Blue for below retail, or you can even walk into a John store and you could get it, just need to wait.
so I was
So
starting under 40, I remember seeing postings in Singapore back in 2016 where they bundle it together with a Rolex or something. I mean, the collectors just want to let go of the piece.
you
Or
didn't
like-
need to bundle. So my story is, if you go to Rolex forums last time, a CB was only how much? 80k ringgit?
Well,
Less than
I-
100k ringgit, definitely. Right. And I even went to Hong Kong, where they had the boutique at the time, not knowing anything. So I walked in. Of course, they didn't have the watch, so they asked me what was I looking for, and I said just that blue color. I can't even pronounce the name.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we don't have something in stock, but you can place an order, and 2-3 weeks or 1 month later, you come back and you get a watch. You know. So for me, it's a very hard mindset where I could have gotten it at retail or even below retail, because I don't mind buying used,
Yeah.
right? And to where it is today. So I cannot justify that for my own self, you know. So that's the reason why I don't have a John. I would love to own one, but it's very hard at this kind of prices.
Then it's a feeling like the ship has sailed lah. So
Yeah.
never mind lah. There's other fish in the
Correct,
ocean.
correct.
But at least you jump on the Betune
So-
ship pretty early, right?
Yeah. So DB for me was something that I've loved since long time ago. So I've seen it, but I never thought I could afford it. Right. And I just totally forgot about it. And then when Hourglass had the DB event in KL, that's when I could touch and see and feel everything.
For the
And
first time,
Yeah,
right?
for the really first time, I was hooked. Really hooked. And I got my dealer that I normally sources my watches. And I said, can I get a DB, right? Can you help me look for a DB? You know? And I said, oh, that's the kind of blue, which is the quintessential
Is there a color name for this? I was not too familiar.
kind of blue, just called kind
Eh?
of.
Just kind of blue.
Yeah, DB28 kind of blue. Right. So
Because Waco has a video of how they make it, right?
Yep.
With the flame, I
Yep.
mean the old school style of forging, right?
Correct.
Like,
Yeah. So he came back to me 1 week later and he said, I found you a new DB28. It's not the kind of blue, but it's really, really good deal. Right. It's almost at cost. And it was the steel wheels.
How many years ago was this?
How long?
Take a calculator.
4-5 years ago. Let me see.
Yes, at least of
Yeah,
all the
keep track.
watches.
Yeah,
oh
about,
my god.
about 4 years ago.
Oh, that's-
3-4 years ago.
Not too
something
far
like-
away.
Yeah, not too far away. So he said, why don't you just take this? Because it's brand new. And, you know, it's a brand new watch. I said, yeah, okay. And then, yeah, okay, let's do it. So I got the steel wheels. And I thought that would. Again, I told myself, got this already.
That's it.
That's it. Nothing else I want in my life.
Exit watch,
Yeah,
end
drink
game,
one,
blah,
All
blah.
these lies we tell ourselves.
Yeah, but I totally fell in love with the steel wheels. But at the back of my mind, I was still lasting for the kind of blue, because like I said, it's quintessential, right? And a few months later, I got back to the same dealer and I said, no, look, I really need a kind of blue. And
need it,
yeah,
right?
really need it.
need
Yeah,
it, right?
really need it.
My life depends on that.
Yeah. So a few weeks later, again, he said he found me one.
Right.
Right. And I got that as well, which is just. But if you really ask me, the one that got the most wear time is the steel wheels. I wore the steel wheels to death. It was my daily for a few months. And
Because that was the first one, right?
yeah, in a way. And also, a lot of people say it cannot be a daily, but I disagree. Unless you go water
You cannot
sports.
be what, sorry?
The
Cannot be
the
a
Betune
daily.
28,
Oh,
BB 28
right.
cannot be a daily, but I disagree. Right. Unless you go into water and all that. That one, then you're out. But other than that, I think it's a great daily watch. It's
Like,
so light. Right. And it's aesthetically pleasing, well, to me. It's got watchmaking chops, and it's the whole package, right?
Do you think anything's changed after the Watchbox acquisition?
Well,
has
price-
anything changed?
prices-
the hype, lah, right?
Prices,
For sure.
Yeah, prices have definitely changed because they really increased their retail.
But philosophically, do you think anything's changed or?
I don't think so. As long as Danny is still there,
Mm.
I think it will always be. They'll always keep their DNA, right? So for what? So they always keep
Thank
their
you very
DNA. So overall, I don't think it has changed. I think maybe it's done a little bit of good in the sense that it's brought more attention to the Betune.
Because one thing
Yeah.
Watchbox don't know how to do, I feel, is really market
Correct.
the shit out of it.
Yeah. So
Even with the Johns now, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I think that's been great for them, lah. But recently I've not been really in awe of their new releases, other than maybe the really crazy ones. But other than that, or maybe it's just me.
The recent ones are the ones with the starry, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it looks a little bit more like the traditional kind of watch, right?
Correct. So to me, you buy a DB for the 28 and nothing else. That is it's like the Submariner of Rolex. Right? That's for me, lah. So
Icons.
the 25 is a fantastic looking watch, but in that price point and in that design, let's say, there are other options. Again, I feel then mechanically, of course, then that's a whole different subject again. But to me, like I said, the 28 is the one for me.
So after DB, then you graduated to other.
After DB, yeah, then that's when it started getting bad.
So sorry. So any reason why you're selling the steel one?
Well, two, because one, prices
Good.
yeah, and I don't need two 28s in my life. Lah.
So you're keeping the blue one?
Yeah, I'm keeping the
Okay.
blue
You
one.
already had only two
Yeah.
28s in your life.
Yeah. So then I went to Urwerk. So natural progression. There's only the first three. I guess the first three indies are currently what DB. If you don't do Jorn, you'll be DB, Urwerk, and MBNF. Right.
Even GRUBEL FORSEY is not really part of it.
Yeah. No. So
Current ED trilogy.
current indie trilogy. Yeah. So I did the Urwerk, sold the Urwerk, then bought this Urwerk because I just prefer the case. I prefer the look. I prefer it more than the one that I had, which was the UR100 steel. Yeah. And then you got, I don't know, a
It's
bit
quite a
all
bit
over the
of
place now.
but it's quite a bit of a space kind of trend to the watch, huh?
Yeah.
From this one, the
Correct.
Betune to the Urwerk.
Yeah.
You get to see that. Is
I
there
think
something
it's-
that conceptually, although you said you like the Seaball, but
this looks very spacey.
yeah, it's very
This
spacey,
looks like,
especially this.
This is spacecraft.
I mean, I see that as Star Trek. I see this as like
Actually, this looks
Predator
like what I know.
kind of.
This also looks like a submarine which goes into the water.
Thank you. Right.
But there's still sort of like, this is still fairly traditional in the way they tell time, right? I like that. I like MBNF,
So I
where
think
they-
if you look throughout my collection, you notice that I'm not really a complication guy. So it's
Really?
all time only.
The
this is a heck of a complication, right?
Yeah, okay,
Then cool.
this not counted.
Yeah,
okay?
okay.
But in general, I'm a very time only kind of person.
Right.
Right. So I've got no. I don't really like terps. Right. I don't aspire to own a terp. Chronos, well, Daytona does it for me. Right. The Ludovic is something very quirky.
Very quirky.
Yeah, very
okay.
quirky, and I thought it was amazing. So that's why I have it. But other than that, I'm really just time only. Right. So there are all different ways of telling time,
Yeah.
but it's all time only.
Cool. So where do you go from here? Where does one go from Vintage, Rolex, Patek, AP, independent, independent.
I think I still look at a lot of independence, but I'm a bit more picky. Where initially, like when I first started my journey, I wanted to own everything, Rolex wise. Then when I first started the indie journey, I wanted to own, try and feel everything as well. But I think I'm looking more at quality now, more handmade, more. I like the idea of the guy working on the bench, everything by hand. Maybe more Dufour kind of style, right?
Finally, we get a Ang Moh that does
Yeah.
work for us.
But I can't afford simplicity, right? But there's so many other guys out there that are doing it. So you just need to look, read, and find them.
Find the next thing.
Right. And also the
Like
last.
Urban, right?
Yeah.
Did you bring your Urban? Your grandson, no, right?
No, I didn't bring that. Sorry.
Oh, that one's
Yeah.
fine.
Then
That's all handmade, right? That's completely handmade.
I think so. I'm not very sure. But the movement is not. It's a PK movement. So
Right.
And recently I've been thinking about like really selling everything and just buying daydates. What? Yeah, I don't know why.
It's a real obsession, right?
It's like-
With the
like
jewel one you showed, right?
Full
It's going back-
circle. Yeah,
going
it's
back to
really
this.
full circle. Like maybe go for a nice 6263.
But when things, when,
something like that.
when you make such decisions,
Uh-huh.
are you not worried? Because, I mean, you started early, right? So then early, therefore, the prices are not so crazy by it. If you were to sell it now, you're not worried that you may not be able to get it back. Doesn't matter.
Well, it would be
I think so,
downsizing.
yeah.
No, it will be downsizing. I mean, price makes a difference.
But I think you see before the last pot that you did with this, I think 8 is your preferred size, right? It's not
Yeah,
a Chinese thing, right?
But I don't think I'll ever get to 8. Let's be honest. There's something that we tell ourselves to like ourselves.
There's some-
So-
there's
I've tried.
truth.
I've tried to do that. Try and map 8, and then say never mind, I cannot. But never mind lah. 10, I think I can manage lah.
Yeah,
Then
that
cannot.
never
Then it
happens.
becomes 12. Then it becomes 15, and then after a while, just
Basically, we have zero control.
So, price is
Terrible.
important, but I'm a bit lucky because like I said, when I did the vintage Rolex, it boomed. Then when I did indies, it hasn't boomed. Then it boomed.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm buying a lot with house money,
Okay.
right? So it's stuff that I've made profit on, and that allows me to explore
The trajectory of
one level up, right?
Right.
Which is something that I could have never afforded if there was no boom. So a lot of people say the boom is
He's my idol.
It's our idol, yeah.
all pure luck. All pure luck. I'm not.
So it's not something you study, then deep into the thing to.
Well, now I take into account of that. So I may like something, but if I think it's going to tank, then I won't buy it. Unless I 10 out of 10 really must have it in my life kind of thing, that's different conversation.
Right.
So behind the mind, the value still
Definitely.
it still sits there.
Definitely.
for sure, man,
Yeah,
for sure.
because it's not unlimited. I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
in the way you start trading for other pieces, it gets more and more expensive.
Yeah, so I have
Exactly.
to be a bit more careful in
But now we bring back to the crown.
I mean, everyone goes
Yeah.
back. So to me, right, in the end, you honestly asked me that question just now. All roads lead back to the crown and Patek. That's it. Yeah, to me, lah.
Let's unpack that for a bit because you've done the Rolex circuit and then you've gone all the way up into all the high end independents. Why would you want to go back to daydates?
There is something about daydate that's just timeless. And first, the variations on daydates is crazy. And if you wear a daydate, right, to watch collectors meet, or to just a gathering of non-watch collectors, no one is ever going to give you
Yeah.
shit for wearing a daydate. I mean, it's a watch respected by everyone,
Everyone.
right? It tells you everything that you need to know. Everything a watch needs to give you actually is there. You don't need a chronograph. You don't need any complications.
Yep.
It's the date, it's the date, it's the time. And it's just something very classy. And to me, the stone dials are just
Beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah. Right. So there's always this inkling. I always tell my wife, sometimes I just feel like selling everything, and then I just want to buy daydate.
You also, right? Your end game also
Right.
that you want
Yeah,
to
I want
Onyx.
Onyx
Daydate.
date.
Yeah, Onyx, right. And then she looks at me and says, "You're crazy." Then she
Going through all
yeah,
that.
she's like, she don't talk to me after that. Right? What's wrong with you today? Yeah. So yeah, but to me, Crown and Patek. I think
Still the go-to, right? After we trying out.
so. You basically have your watchmaking chops in a sense with Patek. You have your dailies with your Rolexes. You don't worry about the value because it's always maintained. It's just great watches to wear.
Yeah, actually, there's one thing, right? The safety of the value constantly staying.
I mean, that's like I say, we have to be honest. It's not unlimited funds. So if I were to die happy, I would die happy with a Rolex submariner on my wrist. I'm fine with that.
Right.
5513 or this?
5512 River.
5512. Oh, nice.
That will be my choice.
So are you on the end phase of indies now?
No, I'm not, but I'm more picky. And also, especially after meeting Watchdog. So, again, he opened up my eyes to stuff way better.
So
Alright.
I think for amateur like me, we know the Urwerks and
famous
stuff,
one,
yeah. But the ones you bought as well, there are a lot which is not famous.
Yep,
And we also talk about like how it's important to retain value.
yep.
How do you balance that fact? Because on your Instagram page, you always share a lot of indie stuff. And to me personally, I don't even know what the thing is.
I think overall in general, right, as long as you buy quality, of course everything is cyclical, but if you buy quality, your value is always maintained. Right, that's how I look at it. So you buy a Langer, it may not really go up, but it never doesn't really come down either.
Yeah.
Well, don't talk about when it was really bottom up, but right now everyone is like looking for quality, right? So so same for indies, same for everything, I guess. If you buy quality, your value will be maintained. Don't buy something too out there, right? Don't buy something too not out there. You find that sweet spot, and I guess most important, it's very cliche, but still buy what you like,
Sure.
right?
That's always good advice.
Is there like a mentality of you just tikam like?
No,
I hope this become the next John. Is there this mentality?
a little bit.
Okay.
You still hope for that, but at the same time, you do your research, you do your reading,
Okay.
you do your how's his pedigree, what has he done, who has he worked for, what is his experiences. Look at the design. I mean, for me, I'm a very aesthetic. I don't really look at movements, so for me, the front must appeal to me first.
Okay.
Then the back, right? Then if the back is great, even better.
So
Right?
get both, right?
Yeah. But the front definitely must always appeal to me first. So it may be the greatest watch in the world, everyone talks about it, but if the front doesn't appeal to me, then it's just not for me.
Yep.
Right. So that's how I normally buy my purchases.
But I think for normal collectors, for normal collectors that like, I mean, current trajectories, the norms, right? The Rolexes, the Omegas, and so forth. I mean, then if you want to go into independent, I mean, what would your advice be?
But
For
I don't think that's advice.
Just buy what you like.
Yeah, seriously, just buy what you like. And you must really
Do your own research.
do your own research. Don't spoon feed.
Yeah.
Because I come from forum days. So if you ask questions in forums, they say, we've already spoken about that.
Yeah, right.
You
It's
have
going to
to-
refer to
Yeah,
trend.
gonna flame, right? Yeah.
Because it's your friend.
Yeah,
Same
right.
era,
Same
same
era.
era.
So
Nowadays it's not, right? Nowadays it's Insta.
Insta,
There's
Google.
no conversation.
Yeah, you just know
Whenever
about
you go back
Correct,
to see what historically what happened,
Yeah.
I think those days were better, right?
Much
With
better.
Forums can actually have an archive of history.
correct. So I think just research what. I mean, if you want to buy a Rover or MBNF or what, do your research. Do really find out yourself why you actually like it, right? Not because it's
So
the
like-
hype
yeah.
thing to buy right now.
Sadly, is
It is, and that's not a bad thing, because if there's no hype, let's be honest again, we're all humans, we all have egos, we want to feel good about ourselves. Part of the reason why I put on a watch every day is definitely not to tell the time, but how it makes me feel. So today, if I wear something like a DVA, it makes me happy, right? And it also makes me happy by knowing that not many people have it. So it's honest. A lot of people say it's not for the status and all that, but it's for your own personal
That's very honest.
satisfaction,
Yeah,
right?
that's very true. I
Yeah.
mean, like, it's you can love a cheap watch and you can love an expensive
Correct.
watch, but when you put it on, the feeling is different.
Yeah.
And it's internalized. It's not
Correct.
external.
Yeah.
right?
It's you feel that the day is better.
Yeah.
The day is sunnier, right?
It gets you by, right?
It's a reminder of how hard you've worked to get here.
Correct.
All the rest of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So it is something. It is something that you buy to reward yourself, right? That you want to feel that you're special, and the less watches there are in this world, and you are owner of one of them, means you feel even more special, right? So my friend here has very special watch as well. And
Feeling very
you know,
special.
yeah,
After seeing the
I
auction
think we
results,
need to put that.
yeah. Even more after seeing the auction results,
I
right?
wasn't too sure
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
After seeing the auction results, they're like, oh yes, I made the right thing.
Yeah, because the auction results is validation.
Yeah,
that
that's correct. Yeah.
I made the right choice. Right? Yeah, whether you sell it or not,
Yeah, it's another thing.
is another thing. Yeah.
So what do you think about the beaver lot?
I haven't seen it in person, but based on pictures, I don't really like it. I don't understand it. Yeah, I really don't understand it. And aesthetically, it's not pleasing for me. So,
It's still fetch over $1 million, right?
well, it is beware. So, you know, he has a following, and it is a tub. It is, I don't know what is it. It's a repeater as well. I didn't
It's
really
a lot
pay
of things.
attention.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. So coming to that, I mean, talking about rares, right? How do you end up with the Google
So
33?
yeah, so I saw it. It was the most wearable GRUBEL.
Yes.
First, it's also the
This is the
cheap,
39.5. Right?
yes, it's also the cheapest GRUBEL.
Yeah.
And
I'm scared to
we
ask
don't
for
have to
cheap.
say that. Like,
but I couldn't afford it.
But yeah, it's here.
I couldn't afford it, and at retail, I couldn't afford it at used prices as well. Until I found this, which was a little bit under that, and then I could afford it by selling other things as well, because those picked up as well. So I decided to.
Also through your second, I mean the guy that gets the watches for you.
Now this is through Watchdog's recommendation.
connections.
Yeah, connections. Yeah. So I pulled the trigger, and yeah, I got a GRUBEL, which again I never thought I would ever own.
Yeah.
So is it above your expectations?
Finishings definitely. It's, how do I put it? It's a great watch, right? Finishing, yeah, definitely top notch. But you must actually really like the aesthetics, right? And I think recently a lot of people have been doing the same kind of aesthetics. So you have your Silver Pinos, you have your, you know, so you can actually get the same aesthetic for 1/4 the price of a GRUBEL. If you are just only looking for that. Other than that, I guess it makes me feel
What
good.
would be the
Like how
what would
we
be
talk
the
about.
closest one like to get this sort of aesthetics?
I don't think he's accepting orders anymore, but Sylvain Pinot,
Okay, I don't know.
yeah, Sylvain Pinot, he's kind of looks kind of similar, right? But not saying his one is no good. Don't get me wrong, because his finishing is fantastic as well, and it's 1/4 of the price of this, right?
That's all go by.
I don't even know what's the price.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually
Off
didn't know the
camera,
price
off
until
camera.
I saw one. I think this is the second one I've seen. The Swiss collection has one. I don't know which model was that.
How much?
$500,000, I think. That was.
Google is your friend.
Yeah. But this is over already, man.
You can move away this part. Really
What's your favorite piece? Okay, not including what's on the table, but everything that you have. What's your favorite
Okay.
independent
Favorite independent.
Which you have? Which he has?
piece,
Okay.
but not necessarily the brand. Just that one piece out of all the indies.
Oh, easy. Roger Smith Series 2.
Oh,
That honestly is my grill.
Go first.
That is my grill. But he's not taking orders anymore. And the secondary is I don't even want to know. It's just too scary.
So how does it actually work? Like, what do you, when you say about taking orders, is do you go directly to the?
Oh yeah, you could actually email Roger Smith, pay a deposit, and then wait, and he'll give you a watch.
Does this work for all indies or? is-
Those that are not represented by the big brands, big dealers, authorized dealers, then yeah, you could actually email them. Right. So you can
There was the
email.
guy on Huininki they interviewed. I think he has 3 of
Yeah.
something like this.
what's the waiting period for that? It's like 8-10 years. Or
Roger Smith
Yeah.
is an 8-year period
8 year, right?
if you
Yeah.
can get on the list, but he's close to the list already.
Yeah.
He makes what 12-15 watches a year. That's about it.
When you say he closed the list, it's like he closed it to the general public, or is it?
No, it's just closed.
not taking
Just-
any more
yeah.
orders.
Yeah.
Because I think he's not getting younger. On 8 years, if he makes 12 a year, there's another 100 pieces. So I think that's.
And 8 is a crazy amount of time to wait. I mean, understandable, and actually that's part of the appeal that they take so long to make
Yeah.
your watch.
Yep.
And that's actually a big part of the appeal.
Correct.
Because you know
Well,
amount of work that's gone into it.
True. But the waiting is.
But 8 years is a
long.
lifetime.
Was it
man.
you or
Right?
some
You
of the-
don't even know whether you're going to like it 8 years later, right?
Eh,
Have you seen one in real life?
No,
That's
I
the thing,
haven't.
ah.
I haven't seen a Roger Smith Series 2 in real life. Yeah. Right.
But I mean, like, it's hard to say whether in 8 years' time whether you will still like it. Or not.
It's like saying you've never seen a Simplicity, but you want to have a Simplicity.
We are not at that level. This is very.
But for me, take the Simplicity out and put the Series 2 in.
Right.
That's my Simplicity, like, in that sense. That's my grip. That's really the Grail for me.
Right.
So I can safely say if I get that, then really end all be all. Because to me,
Really?
no.
Recorded on.
Okay, yeah.
Endgame, I think. Endgame.
The reason why, because I don't think there's anything better. As simple as that. Aesthetics and also watchmaking. So he's not the best finisher, but his finishing is great. He's not the best complication because he doesn't really do complications. But to me, that's just the greatest watch ever. Right. So I honestly can't think of anything better.
How about lessons? You know, I know you said that if somebody wants to get into independence, you don't really have any advice because it's very personal. You need to do your own research and all that. But mistakes that you've made,
plenty.
I'm sure, right?
Plenty.
What are sort of the overarching themes in terms of the mistakes? What any advice for people who
Same. Buying without knowing what you're buying.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest mistake. Being impatient. For me, I always look for the best deal. So I'm a very opportune buyer. I may like something, it doesn't mean that I really must
Need
buy
now,
it.
right?
Nah. So it has to suit my financial, how much I make, the number that I'm willing to pay for it, right? So it has to suit me in that sense. And then if you really cannot get it, don't be impatient. There's always something else, right? Which I didn't get in the beginning of the journey because there was always this, I need to own it. So a lot of people, they love the hunt. I don't really love the hunt. I love the ownership.
This is the first time I heard that.
It's
Interesting.
I love the
Because
ownership.
a lot of people love the hunt.
Yeah, but
And once they get it, it's like, well,
yeah, I love the ownership. I love wearing it. Let's say you buy a nice car, you want to drive it, right?
Yeah, of
So
course,
you're going to put it there, right? So it's the same for me. If I have a nice watch, I want to wear it. I want to wear it as much as I can, right? I the only thing I don't want to ding it. I don't mind scratching it, but I just don't want to ding it, right? But other than that, I just want to wear it. I want to wear everything, right?
I think people tend to confuse liking the hunt more because after they actually find it, there is that adrenaline crash.
Yeah, always.
And then you think that, oh, I actually enjoyed the hunt better than the ownership.
Correct,
But actually
correct.
not necessarily true.
But a lot of people do enjoy the hunt, but I really don't enjoy the hunt.
Or you don't enjoy
I don't really
I
enjoy
enjoy
it,
the
yeah.
hunt.
You
I enjoy
enjoy
the
the
hunt,
hunt?
but I enjoy the ownership more.
I love the ownership. You know, for me, like I want to wear.
Usually, you want like you just ask someone to find the watch or
Yeah, normally
put the
if-
message out.
Yeah, put the message out, or if I see it somewhere which I think the price is nice, good for me, then I'll just buy it. If I think price is too high, then it doesn't make sense for me financially. Then
so how do you come about this new PP?
again, watch it out. So
Again.
it was posted in our group,
Yes, I remember.
right? It was
seeing
posted in our group.
I was wondering.
So I was like, I mean, a world timer has always been on the list. Patek world timer has always been on the list, right? But it was not a priority, right? So yeah, I don't know. One day if I get one, it'd be great. This came out on our group.
You say under, was it?
No, it was just there lah. Let's not discuss.
Yeah.
That. So I asked, and it was available. It was at a price that I thought was great, and then that's how I ended up with this.
I've never seen the Patek word engraved on the case.
Yeah,
This is the first time I
it's
see
very
like,
divisive.
ah.
Some people like it, some people hate it. To me, I just look in the middle of it, and I'm okay already. Right, it's the dial that
And
does
the move.
wonders. Yeah, and Anita Porsche can't really get anything much better than that, unless it's something that it's really done by her, lah. You know.
So for indies now, is it still possible to call up and
Some, yes, you can get a Kari Vuti liner. You can email him, and the wait is 5 years or 6 years or whatever it is.
deposit.
You pay a deposit,
50%,
30%. Kari
30%.
takes 30.
so have you done it?
Yeah,
It's
I've
not
done it.
progressive payment, right?
No.
So like 30,
30
then
and then
next
the
year.
balance.
Ah.
No, the balance when you
collect,
Yeah,
ah.
when you collect. So yeah, that one I've done. So I'm.
But does he
waiting.
do it like old school style? Like, has any of the, aside for This one, the Burgers.
Old school.
Where the guy came and like... they
Oh,
were
no.
right?
I don't think Curry needs to, man.
it
Curry,
just sends it, like-
Curry, you go see him. Yeah, and that'll be a great joy to see Curry.
So when's yours coming?
2027, so I'm still waiting very
Oh,
much.
very
Not very
patient.
far away. 4 more years.
We are, well, that's what I told myself last year. Not very far away, 5 more years. Only. So that's what I told
Every
myself.
year is like,
yeah,
oh, 4 more years.
Best to just forget about it.
Yeah,
When it comes,
yeah,
it
when
comes.
it comes. And, but the one I'm really looking forward to is the JT Reno.
No.
Okay, so JT Reno is by
Google.
this
See,
watchmaker.
he realized
His name is.
Oh my God, these plebeians.
No. But he's not very well known. So his name is Bernhard Schrins. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Right. And he used to be Dufour's
Todai.
he worked for Dufour for 3 years or 4 years, and not many people can work for Dufour for 3 years, 4 years.
Right.
Because I guess the level of expectations Dufour wants from him.
Right.
He did it. Then he branched out. He started his own atelier, but no brand. He worked on movements. He did finishing. So there was this watch account that I follow on Instagram. It's called Dubulu. I love his stuff, right? And
It's
he has
on the
a-
wait
and-
list also,
yeah,
right?
And he has the Roger Smith series too, and Open Work and all that. And it's crazy. I love his stuff. And he posted this watch called JD Reno on his stories. And I was like, oh, Dubulu posted, I better go,
Check it out.
yeah.
Right?
So, and not much information, right? But I found as much as I could, and I started talking to Sifu lor. And Sifu read, and he was like, "Wow, this is amazing, man." Da, da, da. So I DM Bernhard, and he replied. Again, my wife was shopping somewhere. I think I can't remember. I was a bit bored, and he really replied. I was stunned. So we started talking. I started asking questions, and then I was sending his replies to Sifu. And Sifu was like, "No, ask this." So make me look a little bit smarter. like I know what I'm talking about, right? And he was like,
You do, like, you
yeah.
do.
Then so I know he did a subscription, 3 pieces, all went to one Japanese collector. So that's how he started his business. And then the one that I ordered was 6 pieces, which is a tremblage dial. And finally he asked, I've got one more left. Would you be interested?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I literally, oh my god. All right. And I said, yeah.
Let me think about it. Okay.
Everything went okay, yeah, done.
Okay, now thanks.
So yeah, that was how it came about. So back to your question, yeah, it is possible still.
Okay.
Of course, the big recognized indies, then no, because they are represented by a lot of authorized dealers already.
Yeah.
So you still have to go through them. It's an allocation process, and of course, their demand is crazy.
Yep.
But I won't say lesser known because Curry is definitely not lesser
No, it's
known.
not.
Yeah, but you can still, you can still.
But like, I'm very confused with Linen because he's got his own label.
Yeah.
He's CEO of Urban.
Yeah.
He does dials for all sorts of different
Everybody.
brands.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with Curry with the Linen? What's
So everything.
It's a bit of a mystery to me.
Okay, first and foremost, he's arguably one of the greatest alive,
Yep.
greatest living watchmakers. In a
Okay.
way, finishing, I guess he's either top 3, top 5. I wouldn't say who's better, but top 3, top 5. You buy his aesthetics, you buy his eye to detail, you buy his craftsmanship, I guess.
Right.
So everything else that you buy, that is made by him, but it's not Curry Wutilainen.
Right.
He is an expression of the final. How do I say? It's an expression of. Okay. When you buy a Porsche, 911 is, I guess, the ultimate, right? Then you get your Caymans and you get your everything else. So I guess everything else is like the Cayman, right? But it still gives you a feeling of a Porsche, right? You still get to enjoy it, but you don't get the full pleasure of a Porsche, right? But although that full pleasure may only be 20% difference,
Right.
but then you are looking at price rises. But like with anything in life, that 20% extra, you pay more than 20%. lah,
200%.
right? Yeah, 200%. Right? So Curry to me is something that you can still get, and he is a big independent watch brand, right? And he's still arguably one of the greatest living current living watchmaker. He's definitely a legend, and you can still order it. So I think that's the beauty of it.
But does that ever worry you? Like, because all these, I mean, the the emotion of, or at least the passion of somebody making it and giving servicing the watches down the road, like, would that be a concern?
Part of the reason why I only buy time-only watches is because I believe everyone can service it. So for the DV, the only thing that can't be serviced is silicone, right? The one you really need to have a DV. But other than that, like this, I think Patrick can.
Patrick can.
Close eye also can service.
Yeah, Patrick like challenge. He's like,
Patrick,
small problem.
下次計我平啲啊。
Yeah, that's about that emotion.
You know, I mean, that is also part of the reason why I like time-only watches. Because I don't know, man. Complications don't do it for me. I don't find a need for it. I'm not the guy that wants to press my chronograph all the time and watch it. Yeah,
Actually, I never touched my phone.
yeah. I mean, you know, it's nice
It's just
to have.
not nice. Yeah.
With the, you know, exactly, it's nice. But
Aesthetically, with more
it's
things
like,
coming out.
Yeah, it's
Then
like,
the- always higher
The
value.
only complication that's actually useful is a GMT or any kind of multi-time.
correct.
That's useful.
Yep,
right?
yep,
But everything
agreed.
else is just Thailand.
Yep. And the multi-timer is only useful if you're traveling,
Yeah.
right? Or you need to make overseas calls.
And
or
bro,
whatever.
you also need good eyesight, right?
Yes.
For a timer,
Yes.
which I don't have.
Yeah. So use the phone. You know.
Three goals to go title. This one. Where's the attack?
I cannot. I really cannot. My eyesight is fucked.
So do you think that having the IG handle Malaysia Watch Club benefits in all this journey? Like if you DM someone like maybe I don't know, maybe Waco or something, with this IG, do you think it's
I don't know. I haven't tried. I think I should try
I
it.
mean, Waco is just an example, like, you know. Anybody else, you know, in the watch world, you know, there's a lot of big people in Asia, or even
Actually, I
around the
don't
world.
think. I don't think. Well, maybe yes, a little bit, but not really to the extent where it really helps. Because I think in the watch world, knowing collectors and collectors vouching for you as another collector, I think that's the one that really helps, right? So, Watchdog vouching for me with the person who is selling whatever they're selling. It's straight away that there is an automatic bond, right? First of all,
There's a
you
trust.
know, there's a trust. I know I'm selling it to you and you're not flipping it. First thing first. Second, it's like, I love it so much, but I'm going to love other things more. So it's time for you to love it, and I know you're going to love it as well, right?
You know the same,
yeah,
we also worry. Sometimes we sell.
Yeah.
At least we get to see our watches
Right,
back in
and
the
same
circle,
circle, right? Yeah. So I think that helps more than the Instagram. The Instagram was actually just, I don't know, man.
Say no.
MCO, nothing to do.
Document.
Yeah,
But it's a
probably
good
just to document,
documentation.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Because it's sort of like it's like a diary of what you have liked, and then you remember. Actually, I didn't like that anymore. After
And when you
a while.
scroll back, right, you
Yeah.
see your collection how it evolved. I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So is there anything which you have really let go and you regretted it?
Let go and regretted.
5711.
No, not really. I don't think I have anything that I regretted.
I like this man.
Because
Because that's what I want to say. Because for him, he also has nothing.
I never regret
Yeah.
anything that I let go. If not, I won't let go lah. Bloody hell.
Don't be allowed to buy another piece and to sell.
yeah. Then you've tried it, you loved it, or maybe you tried it, you didn't really love
Yeah.
it, or you made some money of it. Okay, what?
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing wrong with
If
that.
you made money of it, even better, right?
Yeah, even better. At least we get to try without
Yeah,
any
yeah.
financial
Yeah, correct,
commitment,
correct,
right? Then you can
correct.
move on to the next.
And even if like after you buy it and you realize that actually why the hell did I buy it? Because I don't even really like it all that much.
Yeah.
Actually, you learn from it also.
Correct.
So it's okay, right?
yeah, and I'm okay with. I'm not say flipping, but I'm okay with selling your watches, because, again, it's not limited resources. You can't love everything as much as
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
there are of
Next
course
best thing.
yeah, and there's always something that you love more than the other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's human nature. So
And sometimes you can't discover what you love more until you discover what you don't like.
correct,
Right,
right,
so-
yeah.
So I say try as many things financially able.
Yeah. Try as many things financially.
Why you think I buy so many G-Shocks?
Oh, love,
Why you think we
G-Shocks.
support each other's addiction?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So what's next from here? What?
Kari 2027, JT Renault next year. I've got a Kudoke coming next year
Wow,
as well.
nice.
Other than that,
Okay.
Huh?
Which one?
the K2, the one by the
the
limited
new
edition.
one.
Yeah. So
He forgot to mention the Rogers space.
Oh, no, that's not coming. I wish it was. You asked me to wait 20 years also, I wait. But
Down payment sent already by the Instagram DM, but
they don't even need my down payment. I'll give them full amount today. Impossible.
Take my firstborn.
Yeah, and my second, and my wife, everything, you know. Yeah,
the one helps.
but yeah, I just cannot. So regret. Yeah, regret maybe not getting into indies earlier because 1 year before that you could actually still put your name in. So yeah, I guess that would be my biggest regret, if you can call it a regret.
Yeah.
Not
I guess
getting into
if you
indies
go
earlier.
through the previous one, you
Correct.
won't get sent, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
move into the
Yeah, true. So, you know, if I started earlier, got into it earlier, maybe I still had a chance. But now, you know,
So if there was to be a club watch
Mhm.
for MWC, I mean, which would be the best brand that you think would be the best?
oh man, anyone that can give us a club watch, I think.
Anyone.
What's the
yeah.
definition of club watch? Like what type of customization you are looking for?
I definitely want to touch the dial because if it's just a color change, then it's not a club watch.
Yep.
It's something that we've changed the color on.
So like any new watch coming out with any new
Correct,
season,
correct,
right?
correct. So it's maybe most probably touch the dial, put our spin on it, and I think we have plenty of people that loves watches that has plenty of ideas as well. And I think something nice can come out with it.
Is this
sometime
something
coming.
you're actively searching for, or
Yeah, I'm actively searching for it because it'd be something that I think would validate everyone's journey and also the fellowship of the group, right? So doesn't need to be expensive, but it needs. I think the hard part is for everyone to agree that this is something that they will actually buy and wear,
Yeah.
right? Because like I said, everyone has different tastes, right?
Yeah,
So I may like something, doesn't mean that Denzel will like it. Then it's like doesn't club watch, then he feels obligated. I say, oh, I need to buy a club watch. Okay, lah, can I buy because everyone's buying, right? Then,
FOMO.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want that to be the case. So I want something that can be accepted by everyone. Of course, price point can be accepted by everyone as well, and something that all of us can proudly wear and enjoy it and hopefully keep for life.
Nice.
So let's get back to this Malaysia Club thing since we are talking about the club watch.
Okay.
The handle is Malaysia Watch Club, so I think as a newcomer who enters the watch world, you think, wow, this one is the OG club of Malaysia.
Actually, it's not.
In terms, that's why this is
Yeah.
the mindset.
Or if that was the byproduct of it, then good lah. So people come. No, but yeah, we never started out that way. We never started out to create a big community. I think where we are at right now, I think that's the number that we're going to keep it at. It's just fun. Every few months we all hang out, we all come down, and we don't really talk watches anymore, so we just drink it.
Chui sui.
Yeah, chui sui, right?
So it's still
yeah.
gonna be
Cereal.
Yeah, it's cereal.
it's basically a friend lah, a group of friends. Like,
It's just a group of friends, yeah. And I think that's the best.
And,
way.
I mean, I didn't even know you exist till I heard Piaoi's. Then I reached out to you, right? I was like, oh, I didn't know there was a. Then I told him, I said, hey, there's another club in the.
Yep.
So do you think what watches collectors have? Does it validate their trustworthiness? You know what I mean?
I think there's no such thing as set watch. It's just, I mean, you can come out with, I don't know, man. You can bring your 100 G-Shocks, right? And I will still say, yeah, come in, because then I already know that you're definitely really passionate about watches, like, all right. It's not about the price. I think it's more about you can have all the RMs, and all you talk about is how much they cost. Then I'd rather not you.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have you in, because it's a very one-sided and also a very boring conversation, because there's no conversation. It's just you talking about, look at me, I'm a baller because I bought $2 million, right?
See me.
That's it, lor. Oh, wow, the whole side.
Then the conversation is.
Yeah, lor, then I go look for that. You know what I mean? So there has to be the passion for it, right? No, Remy, Dream Rocketeers, right? I mean, his watches are from low all the way up, right? And he does all the vintage stuff. And I love seeing his stuff, because every time I'm seeing something new and I'm learning something new. They may not be for me. I don't think I'll ever purchase it. I don't think I'll wear it because sizes and whatever. But I love meeting Remy because I learn. I constantly learn every time I meet him, right? Everything is new. And that's what I think we are all looking for, right? So I meet the Cartier guys because I learn so much. Every time I meet, again, I get to learn. I get to see something more, So stuff like that, right?
Lost chain of thought. Something I wanted to ask was, you have all the high end watches. You have also seen the low end. Like it doesn't matter what watch you have. Basically, you gotta have the passion, right? So what are the bad habits of collectors in Malaysia?
Bad habits.
They are not inside Malaysia Watch Club because, like you say, we are all a group of friends.
We
lah.
all also have bad
yeah.
habits.
So like outside people where maybe you met in an event or people you met in an hourglass showing or what are some bad habits which just turns you off?
Talking about price. Yeah, I think that's the main
Very
thing.
weird, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's the
Talk
minute
about
they
price.
start, right? They look
Yeah.
at it, they will say how much.
Yeah.
That's the first.
I don't think it's a bad habit. The other point is I don't think there's a bad habit. I think Malaysians are just very guarded, just because scarcity and all that. So we're not like other places where friendlier, it's easier to approach. Malaysians in general are just. I mean, I'm guilty of it as well, right? So it's very hard to really approach someone and have a conversation about watches, right?
I said physically.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Right. So whenever we go to events, everyone is just like that, you know. Hi, you know. So it's not like, oh, you know, wow, cool stuff, you know, can we take a picture? No, it's not like that. Whereas I think a lot other places in the world, it is actually like that, right? So, but I think this is just an Asian, Malaysian, guarded, scarcity, whatever kind of thing. That's how
I think it's also depending on different groups.
True.
You know, some groups are naturally very
Upbeat.
standoffish,
Yeah.
if you will, right?
Correct, yeah.
And some is like everybody just like you know, like he always used the word kiki lala, you know, like you know, it's like everybody's like talking cock.
Yeah.
and,
So I think
not
That's
full of
the-
themselves. I
Yeah.
think that's really important.
Because there's some also, I sometimes just say nice watch or what. I mean, sometimes people acknowledge, some people don't even know, like I say reference them, like they don't even know actually what is there. They just wear it because it's.
No, but actually, I don't think I mean, okay, for us, we feel like, you should know, right? But actually, it's
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
For them, it's like,
For them, it's
I feel good, right?
I like
so
it.
back to
Yeah.
back to- I wore it, I like it, I buy it,
Yeah.
and I feel good about it. So I don't think there's any wrong with that. It's
Yeah.
just, maybe there's something wrong with us. Like, in that case,
No, I agree.
There's definitely
Because
nothing wrong
like
with that.
sometimes people just have a
Very simple.
I don't know if it's simplicity, maybe it is, but they just have good taste, right? And they happen to like something very much that maybe the nerdy community likes too.
yep.
And they're successful, so they can afford it and they buy it. But the nerdiness is not a requirement for
Definitely
ownership.
not. It's
Yeah,
definitely not a
so-
requirement, right? That's
so-
that's on us. That's
Yeah, that's on
that's
us,
because we are
really.
nerdy, right? We want to know more. Doesn't mean everyone want to know more.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we.
I mean, we like to laugh at people,
yeah.
you know, when we say like, hey, nice yacht master, is it? Huh? What? No, your yacht master. Oh, no, it's a Rolex.
Yeah.
You know, we like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
laugh
yeah,
at
yeah.
jokes like that.
Yeah, but
But there was a pot, I think,
Yeah.
they also call that out.
yeah, that's the reality. 90% of watch buyers
Yeah,
are that.
we are the weird ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the weird ones, not them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We are the weird ones.
Yeah.
Just love this case. Okay, sorry.
Distracted.
As usual.
Anything's gonna leave from this table?
As of now, nothing yet. Don't think anything is leaving.
So does the wife approve this?
Yeah.
So
yes,
they ask this
yeah.
one.
The wife approves of the
Better this
hobby.
than
Okay,
anything.
ask that question again when we turn off the camera.
The wife approves of the hobby.
You really want to sell the wife for the Roger Smith already?
yeah,
To
yeah.
backtrack from here.
So
Kids? Do the kids
they're not
show?
they're not into watches yet. Yeah.
Yet,
yeah.
But the
they-
boy, the eldest,
How old are your kids?
6 and 2.
Oh, very young. Okay.
So they're not into watches yet.
Right.
Do they show some interest in?
Oh yeah.
which you
My
think is the
son
coolest?
every time I was like my son was like, pick one that I should wear today. He always just buy takes the always Iron Man watch. Okay, done.
That's the 6-year-old that I
Yeah,
see.
that's the 6-year-old. 2-year-old is like
Yeah,
Sure.
2 years.
Show.
yeah, no, cannot.
I think I'm a 6-year-old, so back looking at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
my son just started displaying an interest in watches. I was
Okay,
so proud.
nice.
It's like a
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I hope it happens.
yeah, but I
After
had to
this
wait a long
pro-
time, you know, because he's 15, right? So like I bought him a Casio AE.
Okay.
1200. It's like a world timer.
Okay.
But digital,
Yeah.
right? I bought him that like maybe 5 years ago.
Casio
Never even
Royale.
touched it.
I tell you right, you want to accelerate, just get him a Rolex.
Do kids
I don't
talk
think
about
so.
Rolex?
What happened to this?
I don't think so.
I tell you, he wear a Rolex and then he go to
Suddenly
school.
the feeling.
Next day, Daddy,
Oh,
Yeah.
where's the other one?
then it's then all the girls.
Roy,
yeah.
Roy, don't wear Rolex at school anymore, ah.
I heard it's a myth lah, that when you wear a Rolex, all the girls come.
Yeah, no such
Still
thing.
multiple Rolexes.
This time I have to ask Roy.
Yeah.
He wore a lot in uni.
Yeah. So I got him
Oh.
that watch like 5 years ago or something like 4 years ago lah. He never touched it.
Okay.
Then one day when I picked him up from school, he was wearing that watch.
Okay.
That Casio, right? So I said like, hey, how come you decide to wear the watch
girlfriend,
today?
is it?
Then he said, no lah, I just felt like it. So I was like, I took that at the moment. Right?
Oh.
So then I asked him, actually, you know that world timer function, I have a smaller, shinier, more elegant one than that.
Okay.
Because it's kind of chunky on this on his small wrist. So then I said, you want? No, I give you also lah. Then he said, no.
So good, Papa.
Good about this one.
It's also a digital watch. So I then
But
he said,
anything else you want to give us?
then he said this. But I kind of feel like I'm quite interested in mechanical.
Oh,
I was like, yes.
Nice.
The moment came. So then I bought him a Seiko.
He really subliminally telling you he wants a Rolex.
Yeah,
you
and
got
you
it
got
wrong.
I'm very confident he doesn't even look twice at any of my watches.
Like,
But he likes the idea of something
Rolex.
mechanical.
Seiko's.
Yeah. Any heirloom
Say
pieces? Anything you want to give for your kids?
okay, so that was my thing.
Is there any talks about with the wife?
So I used to have a 15202 BA.
What take?
15202.
Royal.
Royal
So the
Oak.
jumbo, yellow gold champagne dial, and the 5164R, which I still have. Wanted to keep that for my kids. So that was always the plan. But recently, right? No, I sold the jumbo, the yellow gold jumbo. I still have a 64R because I really love that watch. It has a useful complication.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, I don't actually have anything that I must leave for my kids.
Yeah.
Right.
So Papa has bigger dreams.
No.
You to see what else
No,
to
I guess
change.
I guess I look at it this way. If the day I die, I've got 2 watches, then 1 each shop, right? Then I've got 2 kids. If I've got 30 watches, then 16 each, right? So I don't look at
Well,
it.
that's the plan now.
Lucky the club small, so can divide it up.
Yeah. So it's never been, this watch I must keep for my kid, but birth year, all that, not important to me. I think the fact that I wore it, let's say if I wore a watch for 20 years and or my kid is 6, so hopefully when he's 18 I can give him my first Rolex, right? And I know that he's responsible enough to not lose it.
Hopefully, or pawn it off.
Hopefully, right? I'll pawn it off, right? Then then you continue it, lah. And I hope you pass it down or whatever, you do whatever you want with it, right?
But I think like following from that train of thought, we were saying that we're all a little bit weird, right? As enthusiasts, we cannot assume that our kids will be like that.
Correct.
So then they will just get an old watch.
Yep.
Which then they would then naturally say, the reason why
My daddy damn
father
cheapskate cannot get me the new submariner. Give me don't know what is this. By the time you'll be 70-year-old, right?
That's very possible.
Yeah, because not everybody's a watch guy, right?
Yeah.
So then they get this old watch from their old man.
Correct.
The natural assumption would be
Hand me down.
it's monetary value. It's a bequeathment of
Yep, inheritance.
it's some money that my dad wanted to give me. So then they will sell up.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't intend for any of my watches to be left.
Really?
Not even one.
Not even one.
For
If
now,
they want, they can
for
ask
this
me
big-
for it while I'm still alive.
Would you?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you,
Yeah, of course.
In the
If
fact,
it's a Seiko, not a Rolex.
Yes, of course.
or in the case where when he's 18 or 21,
Yeah.
he or she is responsible financially and everything.
21, if he's responsible financially, that means.
Okay.
Wow. Then I did a
Set
great
for life
job.
already.
Oh, yeah.
Another
Then he
watch
asked for-
dog in the
You take everything.
Another watch. Another
You
watch.
take everything. All I have, you take.
So you would
All
lah.
these G-Shocks all for you.
Because at 21, I wasn't that man, so cannot. Yeah.
No, so your
So he was
question
good
is,
lah, like he asked.
I would.
lah.
I mean, if my kids display an interest and say they want
One.
any of my
Yeah.
watches, I would absolutely give it to them, provided they earn it.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? So they have to work at something
Okay.
in order to get that, and I would happily give it. But thank you very much. As a what do you call it? Bequeathment. What's the other word for it? Inherited heirloom.
Heirloom.
I'm not so convinced that
That really doesn't bother me.
So what's
as well.
the age? Like he or she can ask for one.
I don't think there's an age.
Like
Yeah,
if,
any
if
age.
He's
Yeah.
12? 12 like papa this.
No lah. I mean, as a 12-year-old, we cannot take care
But
of
he
it.
shows the
interest.
knowledge, you know, he's like, oh, this is the what movement, this is the what.
Well, now 12-year-old very king already.
Yeah,
Oh, they all give
Even that also, I
They all
don't know.
give already.
I don't know, man.
The
I
next
mean,
curry
if he's 16, if he's 21, if he's 25,
Yeah.
there's no, you know,
Yeah, I mean, if you display the same weird nerdiness,
Yeah.
give, man.
yeah.
Go to watch learning school. Something? Would you approve?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's a good paying job. You can.
Free service.
Yeah, free
Papa,
service.
free
Yeah,
service.
forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good paying job, it's high paying job. You are, like Patrick said, you're wanted everywhere in the world. You can just go today, I'll pack my bags and go to another city and you find a job, right? So there's nothing wrong with that.
And you're guaranteed to be number one on the wait list for the Italian brand.
Yep. So, yeah, why not?
0-0.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one,
Dream, right? Yeah.
so, yeah.
So would you think this hobby would die down one day?
For myself,
Yep.
I don't think it will die down, but it may scale down. I don't know. Depends on what's made, I guess. But there's always something new. So if you still find the new things interesting, then I guess it will
do you
continue.
guys think it would? I know. Yeah, for you.
Hard to say.
I think it's like if
For you dying already, right?
if retail prices are increasing,
Sell the Pebble
sell
off price.
No, you sell the Pebble, then you will 翻生咯。哇！突然間有好多錢可以買咩？可以買咩？Right?
yeah, feel alive again. Right?
Yeah.
Second
Second win. Second win, yeah. So, wow, I got so much money to spend. What can
I think
what can
it's
buy
it's
now?
like you say that some pieces the price is not justifiable.
Yeah.
So that's the dying down for me.
But I think a lot of people harp and bitch about it, right? But go look somewhere else.
Yeah, that's
See the fittest.
That's partly why I went to Indies also, because I couldn't go to AD. I couldn't buy anything from AD. Couldn't afford more Royals. I couldn't afford. So look somewhere else.
But the funniest thing, I mean, I want to share this on Rick. Like when this piece came, like I mean those people that bitch lah, my friends. I say, you want it? Take it at retail price lah. All sorts of excuse again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Then it's like
Now? Straight away?
no, but these are not watch collectors. They
Yeah.
just buy it for the sake of like. Yeah, but I just want to test and see like whether given you will you pay. They also find it very
Hard to swallow at retail.
hard to swallow at retail. Then I'm like, then why you complaining before? Like great, like this is available, right?
I think because you all are very young, not at my age. I'm far closer.
They are young lah.
You are young also.
He is young actually.
I am far closer to my mortality than all of you all.
Find it, first come.
I personally feel everybody will get out of it.
Really?
Everybody will get out of the hobby. I mean, like, if you are 80 years old and in ailing health, you're going to want to.
This is one of paying the medical bills, man.
It would be gone already by then, because otherwise you wouldn't be alive still, right? So they would have been gone in order to pay the medical bills. I mean, I don't know lah. I think at the end of the day, watches, as much as we love them now, as much as we obsess about them now, they are not life.
Oh well,
Yeah,
true.
so-
I think if I never obsessed over it before, then I could have gone scored back the face. Because at one point in Singapore, there's so many, and I wasn't even interested in that.
Correct.
Then suddenly now it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm bored. Then it went.
I think the interest will always remain,
Yeah.
but the buying may be different.
Yeah.
I think that's how.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in it, it's like I started with sneakers, right? So I used to buy and own and wear everything I wanted. Now I still follow. I don't buy.
You don't buy anyone.
I don't
yeah.
buy, but I still follow. I mean,
Yeah.
the interest is still there, but it's not like peak interest, right? But it's still interest, and I just don't buy it. So the buying is different, unless
I think I'm sick because I'm like,
Oh.
cannot buy already, my watch too expensive. So buy sneaker cheaper.
unless I see something I really like, or I must just have this. So just buy above retail lor, because that's the only way I can get it
Yeah,
anyway, right? Just buy above retail and that's it, and enjoy it, and that's it. I wear it to death, right? So back to what you said, I think as long as the interest is there, it will never die. It's
Yeah.
just your buying is different.
Yeah.
But your appreciation is still there.
Yeah, you will always have an eye for it and all that, but
I mean, if someone sits beside you and wow, nice watch.
Yeah.
Wow, nice watch, right? Yeah.
but you won't need 40
Yeah.
pieces
Yeah, maybe.
or
Yeah,
whatever. You know, you probably stick to your favorite two.
Correct,
or
correct, correct.
But
whatever.
let's face it, it's never possible.
Well, I
I
think,
think it
it
will
is
be
possible.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's possible.
Now it's not possible.
Yeah, now it's definitely not possible. Zero.
When you're
zero
85
chance.
years old,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Unless
yeah.
by 85,
Yeah.
you have amassed a collection that is worth 40 million US. And
Right.
then you go to Christie's or Phillips and all that.
Sell, slightly there, like,
Wow.
live
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you can in the remainder of your able
But
body.
that itself is validation on your curation for the last 50
True,
years.
true.
Right?
Whether you
So-
made the right decisions
Yeah,
or
yeah,
not
yeah.
and all that.
So I think that one is, well, different
Hopefully,
different talk.
Yeah. But I'm not leaving that to the kids.
So aside from watches and drinking,
Uh-huh.
what else are you?
That's all, man. Watches and
Inside the cancel drinking, I know that will be a second.
watches and wines. That's it.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Happy man already.
Yeah, happy already. Yeah. Don't have more time for anything else.
Anything else?
No,
Yeah, I think we had a
thank
good
you so much.
I
It
think
was
this
a
today is
great
just more
chat.
of
Yeah,
a
thanks
very
for
nice
having me
video.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
nice
more of a
first time
lesson
as well.
to
we
understand.
learned a lot. We have to Google a lot.
Get to play with a lot more.
Yeah.
I want to start a little something. Actually, we haven't had a chance to discuss this, but how about if every time we have a guest, we take a current watch issue
And put it in the conversation.
and just end with that as a question. You know? So like recently, we had certain authorities go into watch stores to confiscate all the rainbow watches.
Yep.
Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Wow. Well, I guess Malaysia is a Islamic country, so maybe that's an issue. But if they didn't do what they did, then it wouldn't be such a big issue. That's how I feel. So you should have just left it be. But I guess interpretation of I'm Malaysian, but I'm not Muslim, so interpretation of the law is different, right? So
I don't think it made in Jakarta also, right? So
So personally, I thought it was maybe a bit too much. But at the same time, who am I to say that it's too much? Because that is another interpretation of law. So, should Swatch have been a bit more, well, I won't say smart, but a bit more sensitive to it, maybe? Because again, it's Malaysia. But I think it's just a bit
more
blown.
checking with the authorities first before.
Yeah, but I think in the end it's just a bit blown out of the water. Shouldn't be such a big issue, right? So, but yeah, that's my personal opinion.
Cool. Thanks for sharing your opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin, for agreeing to be on camera.
Yeah, finally.
And
because
show us this amazing.
Benson was cracking his head how to pixelate your.
No, he didn't want to make it look like Japanese porn.
Paperback,
but-
He was very excited, I tell you, because he's like, I got this idea how to pixelate his face.
The paperback had audio challenges lah because of the voice.
But thank you so much for showing this to us, and like not everybody will have the chance to really see this in real life.
Yes, it's such a privilege.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Owning one also is a privilege already.
Oh.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Is still recording? I mean, never know when it's recording.